Doobie-doobie-doo. 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 I'm your host, Sabrina Salvati. Doobie-doobie-doo. Doobie-doobie-doo. Salvati.
Hello, doobie-doobie-doo. What's going on, everyone? Shout out to everyone watching on Rockfin, Twitter, and YouTube. I want to say hello to people in the chat. What's going on? Aspen Fallen says, oof, this is going to be a rough episode. Solidarity, Sabs. Oh yeah, these stories are pretty, with the exception of the AOC one, these stories are pretty deep. Always great to see you, Aspen Fallen. What's going on? Pitchforks are coming. Good evening. AOC should have gone to Hollywood. Oh, we're going to talk about that tonight. She's a trip. What's going on? 1848 revolt. I want to hear about Malcolm's daughter. Yeah, so I have a lot to say about that. We're going to get into that tonight. I was really surprised to hear that news this morning. Greetings, Lawrence. Always great to see you. AOC probably writing a sternly worded letter. You know they love to do that. Shout out to Eric, who is a Sabby member, says, hello, lefty friends. Greetings, Notori. Always great to see you. She says, hello, everybody. What's going on? Hannah G says, what did Malcolm's daughter die from? Oh, that's a good question. That is a good question. We're going to get into that. What's going on, Gamer for Life? Always great to see you as well. Greetings, Little Rock Elevators. As Bill O'Reilly, we're doing it live. Yes, we are. We are. What's going on, Creative Experiments? Says, yay. Yay to you too, Creative Experiments. Shout out to Delthea Simmons. She's a Sabby member. Hello, everybody. She says, hello to you too. Greetings, RIP Mike Gravel. Yo, Gamer, long time no speak. Gamer, you're popular here. People like you. People like you. Hello, Valerie. Hello, everyone. Talk about the disgusting Rittenhouse verdict too. I can get into that too as well. I'm really, honestly, I'm so tired of Kyle Rittenhouse. I feel like they're giving him a lot of attention. A lot of attention. What's going on, Kyle? Doobie-doobie-doo. Greetings, Tina Q82 says, sup? What's up, Tina? What is going on? Shout out to Greg Bruce, who's also a Sabby member. Hey, Sabby and Lefty friends. Make sure I give everybody a shout. What's going on, Leroy, who is also a Sabby member, says, good day, everyone. Good day to you too, Leroy. All right, all right. Greetings, Yipper99. Good morning in my uncle grandpa voice. I wonder where you're located. It's 7 p.m. here. It's getting late. Shout out to Roger Meadows. What's up, Roger? Thanks for the super chat. This is my last YouTube chat. I'll be sending Rockfin chat responding to yesterday's show. Prepare. Uh-oh. I got to get ready. Thanks so much, Roger. What's going on, Silver Surfer? Always great to see you as well. Aya, what's going on? Says Sabster and everyone. Kay Harris says, hi, everyone. Once again, is laughing. Probably at the AOC thing. Wear a Pilgrim, always great to see you. Prepare for the Roger Meadows info stream in 3, 2, 1. LOL. All right, let's go ahead and get into it, you guys. Let's get into it. Had a couple of things happen this morning. I'm going to go ahead and share my thumbnail. And if you are new, welcome to Sabby Sabs Podcast. I'm your host, Sabrina Salvati. I'm a part of what used to be the FHL network. The name has been changed. Nick will be talking about that later on tonight. So definitely go check out what used to be known as FHL tonight after the stream. I think Nick is streaming at 9 o'clock with International Leftist Coalition. So definitely check that out. And let me go ahead and share my screen. Let's get into the thumbnail. Guys, I know some of you have told me that you're not getting the notifications when I go live. That happens sometimes with YouTube. My recommendation is that you follow me on Twitter. And the reason why I say that is because I always tweet out when I'm going live. And once I'm live, I also do another tweet that says live, basically. That's pretty much what it says. Let me grab my thumbnail here. Doobie doobie doo. Where are you? That's the old one. That's weird. Well, that is strange. What did I do with that thumbnail? I downloaded it. I put it up there. I'm just going to share it from YouTube. Screw it. Screw it. This is what happens when you go live, guys. This is what happens sometimes. All right. So I'm just going to click on it here. Oh, I guess I can't do that. Shoot balls. I can share it from Twitter. Balls, 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 balls. All right. Here we go. I will share the thumbnail from my Twitter page because I have it there. All right, cool. All right, sharing my screen. My name on Twitter is at SabbySabs2. You can find all of my links in the details tab below the video. That's how you can find me on social media. All right, so tonight we are talking about AOC calls out Biden. Oh man, what did AOC say? What is she talking about now? And should we take her seriously? We're also going to talk about Malcolm X's daughter dies. That news broke this morning. I was really surprised. I was not expecting to hear that. And I have some things to say about that because two men were just released. They were exonerated from killing Malcolm X just last week. So I'm going to talk about that because I feel like this is a little suspect to me. I could be wrong, but the timing is suspicious. And we're going to do an Ahmaud Arbery trial update. So I talked about that trial in the show before, or the case before. Now that the jury is now going into deliberation, I want to give you an update about what's been going on with that trial because there's some questionable things that have been happening and all of us should be concerned. So let's go ahead and get into it. Here we go. I'm going to start off with the AOC calls out Biden because this, to me, is again, I feel like it's too little, too late. Oh, where'd my link go? Hold on. I have to pull up another one. Business Insider. This one will work. So I told you guys a while back before that there are certain things that Biden can do by executive order. I've talked about that before in the show, and he's choosing not to do that. Now, some of the items that are in the Build Back Better Act, or some of the items that were actually removed, Joe Biden could have done those things by executive order. Instead, he left it up to Congress and now the Senate. And along the way, items were removed, such as free community college. They took away the dental part that was included with the healthcare portion of this bill as well, and other things as well. So let me go ahead and share my screen because it's really interesting to me that like now she wants to be vocal about this, but at the time when it was really needed, where was this back then? So listen to this. AOC calls out the enormous amount of executive power Biden could have on student debt, climate change, and immigration while she's watching him hand the pen to Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. Now, I told you guys before, I feel like Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema are just scapegoats. They have to have someone to blame. It's like Glenn Greenwald said, it's the rotating villain. So that's just their excuse. And this came out yesterday. So let me go ahead and scroll down. I'm going to make this a little bit larger for you guys so you can see the text. Yeah. Okay. AOC thinks President Biden has the power to do a lot more. While the House recently passed Biden's $2 trillion Build Back Better framework, marking a significant advancement in Democrats' economic agenda. I disagree with that, but I'll go on. AOC wasn't too quick to celebrate. I disagree with that too, because she was one of the people out there dancing with the bill. Did we all forget that? Her and Ilhan Omar out there dancing with the BBBA bill. Okay, whatever. There is an enormous amount of executive action that they're sitting on that I think is underutilized. We got executive action on the table with respect to climate. On student loans. We've got executive action on the table with respect to climate. There are certainly things that we can do with immigration. Opposition from centrist Democrat holdouts Joe Manchin, Kyrsten Sinema forced Democrats to significantly scale down what was once a $3.5 trillion social spending package. And even this right here is incorrect. It was actually larger than that. I'm trying to remember if it was 6 trillion or 7 trillion, but just giving you guys an update on that, because that wasn't the original amount. Just want to correct that there. Leaving climate measures like the Clean Electricity Payment Program and free community college out. AOC lamented those cuts, telling the Times that the past 6 months were spent watching us just hand the pen to Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, when Biden could have used his executive authority to progress his agenda himself. And this is what I said a while back, like when they first started talking about this. I said, why are we sitting here, or some people sitting here cheering on the squad and saying, yay, you guys are so brave. You guys are so bold. This is the way to go. When these were things that Joe Biden could have done himself by executive order. We saw Nancy Pelosi come forward and say that the president cannot cancel student loan debt. I told you back then that was false. Now you have AOC saying the same thing. So this was the problem that I had, was the fact that all of these people were pointing fingers at Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin, when Joe Biden could have done some of these things on his own by executive order. And a lot of people weren't mentioning that. They weren't calling that out. So I'll go on. So why are we taking this as legislative compromise when the opportunity is so much greater, or when Biden could do this stuff with the stroke of a pen and is just reminding us that he's choosing not to? What did I tell you guys? What did I tell you? Everybody kept saying, oh, well, it's Sinema, it's Manchin. And you have Joe Biden sitting there with a lot of power and choosing not to use it. He told us multiple times, if Medicare for All came across his desk, he would veto it. He's used his power when he feels that it is something that is going to benefit him, that's going to make him look good, that's going to make his donors look good, something that they are going to accept. And that's something we have to come to grips with here. So she's saying he's choosing not to do it. So far, Biden has signed 71 executive orders that have covered the topics AOC mentioned. One of his first actions was extending the student loan payment. No. We are not asking him to extend student loan payment. Student loan payment pause. We are asking him to cancel student loan debt. These are not the same things. So I don't know who wrote this article. Let me go up to the top. Who wrote this? Aoc Sheffy. Yeah, he or she is not being transparent with you here. You see how they twist the narrative to have it fit what they wanted to say. So they go on to say he also rejoined the Paris Agreement to reinstate the U.S. as the leader in fighting the climate crisis and reverse Donald Trump's expansion of immigration enforcement in the U.S. in separate actions. Yeah. But he has not done the things that we really need done in this country to help people that are lower income, to help people that are struggling with student loan debt, medical debt. He has not done those things, and we need to call it out. It goes on to say some Democrats argue he can do even more. Duh. AOC, along with her other House and Senate progressives, have been calling on the president to use his executive authority to cancel at least $50,000 in student debt per borrower, arguing that he has the authority to do so under the Higher Education Act. I honestly feel like he should cancel all of it. I don't feel like you should put a limit on this. And another thing that I don't like is 9 times out of 10, they're going to try to means test this. I don't think this is something that should be means tested. I just don't. Just cancel it for everybody all across the board. As Insider has previously reported, experts and lawmakers disagree on whether Biden actually has that authority, and Biden himself wasn't so sure either. Wasn't so sure? Give me a break. He knows if he can do it or not. You see how this article, this narrative, how they're basically simping for Biden. They're trying to make him look like the good guy here. They're trying to make it seem like he doesn't know whether or not you're the president of the United States. If you don't know how to do this job, maybe you shouldn't be doing this job. I'm sorry, but these excuses are ridiculous. They would not be saying this if it was Trump who was doing it. Just putting that out there, just being honest with you. So it goes on to say, while the House Build Back Better package included work permits for about 6.5 million undocumented people in the US, it could likely be cut in the Senate. And this is why you should never leave it up to them. This is why we need someone like Joe Biden to come in and do an executive order. And it could be cut. This is the thing I want to make very clear to everybody. Just because this passed in the House, that doesn't mean it is going to pass in the Senate under the same terms. They can always go in and remove more items from this act. They can go in and they can decrease the amounts from this act. So while Ilhan Omar is out there dancing with that bill, whatever the heck that mascot was, people in the Senate are like, yeah, go ahead and dance because we're going to cut it. I mean, give me a break. Give me a break. I just told Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin told you they're not going to approve it as is. So why were they celebrating? There's nothing to celebrate yet. You know how many times bills have passed in the House and they have failed in the Senate? Give me a break. Give me a break. So it goes on to say, as Insider previously reported, executive orders are often a source of partisan debate and are used to advance an administration's priorities. Let me come out of here. So, is AOC right to call Biden out? Yes, but she should have been doing this before. This is the thing that pisses me off about her. It's always after the fact when your voice doesn't matter as much anymore. It's already passed in the House. We can't go back and change it. We can't go back and change it. Where was this same rhetoric when she was on CNN and MSNBC saying that Joe Biden was doing a great job? She said that. It's not just Pramila Jayapal. You have members of the squad that have also said these exact same things, that Joe Biden's doing a great job, that we should give him an A. When she had the spotlight on those networks, why didn't she say that then? These are the questions we need to ask. She always comes in after the fact when it doesn't matter as much to say it now. Sure, now talk as freely as you want to. It's already passed. She should have been saying that back then. That is the problem that I have with her coming out with these statements now. Yes, it is right to call him out, but all this time she's been defending him. All this time. I think President Biden is doing a great job. Yes, he's listening to us. Meanwhile, you had Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman on CNN saying the exact opposite, that they're not being listened to, that they're not given a seat at the table. So you have a divide, you have a split. Who's telling the truth? I don't know. I'm going to go to some of the comments in the chat. Gamer for Life said AOC is only doing it because she wants attention, nothing more. I feel this way as well. I feel like she's still trying to hold on to like her progressive base. She doesn't want to abandon them. So it's like, again, she's trying to do this thing where she walks in the middle, and she did this before about Cuba. And I talked about that on the show as well. She's trying to do this thing where I don't want to abandon my progressive base because they're really the ones who got her elected. If we want to be real here, it was a lot of the non-voters who came out in support of AOC. That is how she beat Joe Crowley. She got people to come out to vote that never was like, nah, I'm not going to vote. So at the same time, though, she also wants to appeal to the Nancy Pelosi Democrats to further her career. So what she's doing is she's using Nancy Pelosi's talking points when it really matters, when it is time to vote. But then after the fact, she's saying the progressive things that she said when she was running so that she still doesn't lose that progressive base. It's an old trick, guys. She's playing both sides. She's playing a lot of people right now. And you got to see through it. This is why when people constantly defend her, I'm just like, why? Don't you see what she's doing? She has officially morphed into being a politician, an establishment politician. They tell you what they think you want to hear at that time to get your approval, and they'll do it as long as they need to until it's time for them to run for election again, and then to get voted back in. That's what they do. She's already figured that out. Pay close attention. West Coast said, don't trust Democrats. Oh, West Coast. West Coast is bringing the heat. Bringing the heat. Cam said they love pretending that the president of the U.S. has absolutely no power to do anything about anything. He's only been in office for 10 months, they say, while breaking every promise he made. It's not much I can say about that. It's true. Think about all the things that Trump did like day one, maybe not day one, week one. And so people are making a lot of excuses for Biden. I don't like the excuse that, oh, he hasn't even been there a year yet. So what? So what? Who cares? Let's go 90 days. Let's do 90-day probation period, like some jobs do. Even at 90 days in, he's past 90 days in. If I was giving him a review right now, he would fail. He's not doing a good job. I told you guys, his poll numbers now are at 36%, his approval rating, 36%. And even Democrats are included in that. So there are some Democrats that don't think Joe Biden's doing a good job. And independents. Of course, you knew Republicans, but you got Democrats. I don't know. Once again says, since when do DC socialist job make millionaires? Congress and Senate is a gold mine. Yeah. I believe Joe Manchin is the wealthiest senator. I'll have to double check that, but I believe he's the wealthiest one. Eric Thomas said they always make a big deal about the first 100 days. Yeah, they do. It's like that with a lot of jobs, though. It's like that probation period. Let's see how well you do. Robert says, greetings to all. I hope that you are safe and well on this evening. I hope so as well, Robert. We are going into the Thanksgiving weekend. So hopefully so. But yeah, this is not good news. And I'm telling you, another thing that I've been reading as well is that now even CNN is admitting that Democrats are in trouble come 2022. That Joe Biden is in trouble come 2024. They're not even ignoring it now. They're not even avoiding it. Even they're saying it. So yes, they should be very concerned. Very concerned. Cam said, if I wanted to get paid to do nothing, should I become a U.S. senator or a U.S. congressman? Oh, damn. That one's brutal, Cam. That one's brutal. Yeah. So guys, let me know if I look orange again, because I think I think it's my ring light. Let me see. Yeah, I think it is my ring light. I need to get a new one. Oh, well. I'll just be orangey. All right, let's go ahead and get into the second story. But I just thought that was really interesting because, again, they're like, here comes AOC to the rescue. And I'm like, nope. Going into our second story, but first, I want to talk about Malcolm X's daughter. So this happened this morning. Let me go ahead and share my screen. I have a video and I have an article that I want to share with you. Let me go in. And this is from the local news channel in New York. So here we go.
But first, we begin with some breaking news here tonight. Malcolm X's daughter, Malika Shabazz, has been found dead in her Brooklyn apartment. Police say Shabazz's daughter found her unconscious in her Midwood living room just before 5 o'clock this evening. Police say that her death is not suspicious at this time. This does just come days after the two men convicted of killing Malcolm X were exonerated. Shabazz was one of 6 of Malcolm X's children. She was 56 years old.
Yeah. So that happened this morning. And it was interesting when I heard this news segment because they said that she lived in Midwood and I used to live there. I actually haven't met many people or know many people that lived in Midwood, but I used to live there when I lived in New York. So it kind of brought back bittersweet memories for me. But last I checked, they didn't have a cause of death. I find this to be somewhat suspicious. And the reason why I find it to be suspicious is because of what just happened last week. So let me go ahead and share that article because I don't know, you guys. I don't know. I question the timing of it. I really do. Let me share my screen. Last week, this happened. Exonerated. Convicted killers of Malcolm X have judgments vacated, will walk free. Listen to this. 2 of the 3 men convicted of killing Malcolm X in 1965 had their judgments vacated Thursday after a review of the case revealed the FBI and the NYPD withheld crucial evidence that could have led to their acquittal. And this is why when people say that the justice system is fair or that the justice system works, I mean, we got Joe Biden out there saying that he believes in the jury system, the way the jury system works. I call BS on that. And the reason why is because here we have an incident where the FBI and the NYPD are withholding evidence. This is why I tell people the justice system only works for certain people. So if you're not a part of that group, if you're not wealthy, if you don't have connections, I'm just being real. If you are broke, if you are Black, a lot of times the justice system does not work for you. So I call it an injustice system. It goes on to say, the judgments of Muhammad and Khalil were vacated Thursday by the New York State Supreme Court. An investigation led by Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance Jr. found the FBI and NYPD withheld documents that implicated other suspects and pointed away from Aziz and Islam. The 2020 Netflix documentary Who Killed Malcolm X prompted Vance to reopen the case. So this is another one of those examples where a documentary has come out and that has actually pushed other people to say, let's go ahead and reopen this case. That actually happened with Making a Murderer. I don't know if you guys saw that documentary on Netflix, another crazy situation in Wisconsin. I don't know if I'll be going to Wisconsin. I'm hearing too many crazy stories come out, but of a young man at that time went to prison. I forget how many years he was there, but then it come to find out that he was innocent, that he didn't do it. They released him. Then next thing he knows, a couple years down the road, he ends up going back to prison again. And so the whole documentary is about, did he really do it? Why people wanted to reopen the case? Because again, there was police officers there that were planting evidence. He didn't get a fair trial. Like it was so corrupt. It was so corrupt. And again, he was poor. He didn't have the resources. And that's what I'm saying. If you don't fall into those groups, the justice system 9 times out of 10 does not work for you. So that's important for people to know. So anyway, because of the documentary, he decided to reopen the case. Evidence not given to the jury at the time pointed to William Bradley, a member of the same Nation of Islam mosque as the shooter apprehended at the scene, as a suspect, as he better matched a witness description of one of the shooters than did Islam. Both Aziz and Islam offered credible alibis backed by testimony, with a new witness coming forward following the documentary and further confirming Aziz's alibi. This is what Vance said. This points to the truth that the law enforcement over history has failed to live up to its responsibilities. These men did not get the justice that they deserved. Now, for those of you who may not know, one of the things that Malcolm X's daughter was working on, and this came out, when did I hear about this? I want to say this was a couple months ago, was the fact that the FBI, she believed, and apparently there was evidence for this. I guess this is probably not going to go on now, but she believed that the FBI were the ones who killed her father. I'll see if I can find that. I'll go to some of the questions in the chat as well. Where Pilgrim said, yes, sometimes documentaries and podcasts can shine a spotlight on injustice. Yeah, it's true. And sometimes it's not always right. It's not always the right information, just being honest, but sometimes it is. Gary said the FBI assisted in the assassinations of Malcolm X, MLK, RFK, Fred Hampton, and JFK. There you go. So it is really interesting to me. So you guys wonder why I question the timing of it, because they were just exonerated last week and she dies today. And when the headline came out today, it was Malcolm X's daughter dies. And I was like, what? So I've read so many articles to see if they would give me more information. Why did she die? Was she killed? Is this just natural causes? To leave it just so short and abrupt like that, people are going to start to come up with their own perceptions and their own opinions about what happened to her and why it happened. Now, again, I question the timing of it. This just seems a little suspicious to me. I don't know. What do you guys think? Yipper says it is a shame. Excuse me. It is a shame that podcasts and documentaries are doing more work, oh man, than these so-called professionals and experts. Yeah. You got to have people who have a passion for finding the truth and revealing the truth to come forward to do it. But you're right. It's 100%. It's really screwed up that the people who have those jobs that are supposed to do that, they're not willing to go that far. They're not willing to continue to keep working on it. I don't know. Valerie said they probably have to wait for autopsy results. Yeah, I can imagine that. Jesus says law enforcement is there not to protect and serve, but to keep the plantation system. Well said, Jesus. Well said. I'm going to pull up that article because I did see this a couple months ago. I believe it was a letter. Yes, it was February. Now, this is the family who came out with this information. And this is what I was telling you guys. Oftentimes, a lot of times, it is not the people who are in those jobs doing it. It's the people who care passionately and deeply about the case. The family, friends, people in the community. Roger, it looks like you left comments on Rockfin But how can I? Thanks so much for the tip on Rockfin, Roger. I'll have to pull that up. Let me read this letter because I want to show this to everyone. This was in February, and that's what I'm telling you guys. This is suspicious to me. So this came from the family. Boom. Malcolm X's family reveals letter they say shows NYPD FBI assassination involvement. Let's get into this. Now you see the date, February 22nd, 2021. Just a couple months ago. Let's see if they'll let me make this a little bit bigger. Thanks, Washington Post. Family members of Malcolm X have revealed a letter written by the New York police officer that they say shows the NYPD and FBI were behind the 1965 assassination of the famed Black leader. Let me see. Now, the letter is written from Raymond Wood. He wrote this letter in 2011. He is no longer living. So let's see if they'll let me pull it up. Maybe they don't pull up the letter, but they have the things here. Listen to what he says. I was a Black New York City undercover police officer between May 1964 and May 1971. I participated in actions that in hindsight were deplorable and detrimental to my own Black people. See, this is exactly what they did with Fred Hampton as well. The FBI got a Black guy to do it for him. Infiltrated the Black Panthers, was a part of taking out Fred Hampton. This is what they do. It goes on to say, under the direction of my handlers, I was told to encourage leaders and members of the civil rights groups to commit felonious acts. You hear this? Wood said he was hired by the NYPD to infiltrate the civil rights groups to find evidence of criminal activity so the FBI could discredit and arrest its leaders. And this is what they do. They'll smear you or they'll kill you. In this case, they did both. He said that he threatened to resign, but that his supervisor said if he did, they would charge him with false crimes. You guys hearing this? His supervisors, Wood said, concocted an alleged plot to bomb the Statue of Liberty that implicated the members of Malcolm X's security detail and led to their arrest. This is crazy. This is crazy. On the day of the assassination, Wood said his supervisors ordered him to be at the Audubon Ballroom, where he was identified by witnesses while leaving the scene. So they know he was there. Khalil is one of the guys I just mentioned to you, also known as Thomas Johnson, was later arrested and wrongfully convicted to protect my cover and the secrets of the FBI and the NYPD. I would tell you guys how corrupt the NYPD is. The NYPD is so corrupt. And they're not the only police department in this country that is, but their corruption runs deep, 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 deep. The letter was presented at a news conference Saturday in New York by Malcolm X's 3 daughters. You hear this? And civil rights attorney Ben Crump, a cousin of Wood. Reggie Wood joined them in revealing the letter's contents at the Malcolm X and Dr. Betty Shabazz Memorial and Educational Center on the site where the Audubon Ballroom once stood. Raymond wrote the letter shortly after being diagnosed with stomach cancer. He had stipulated to his cousin that he did not want his involvement to be made public until after his death. His cancer went into remission in 2012, and he did not die until 2020. He died last year. The letter came out this year, was revealed this year. It's interesting. They mentioned this to Jen Psaki, and she said, I have not seen that letter. If you want to provide it to us, I'm happy to have the right person look into it after the briefing. Okay. Yeah, sure you are. So his daughters revealed this letter to let people know that it was the FBI and the NYPD that were actually involved with killing their father, not the men who were in prison, who were currently in prison for it. Those two guys were just exonerated. Let me come out. How does all that make you guys feel? Because that's pretty heavy stuff, right? It just goes to show you how corrupt the justice system is. I told you. What'd I tell you? To have two men sitting in prison all this time that they knew didn't do it. They knew all this time. Watson says the police are special bodies of armed men placed above society and alienating themselves from it. That's from Vladimir Lenin. Creative Experiment says it sounds like they're sending a message to scare people back to work and shut up. If you guys have not seen Judas and the Black Messiah, the story about Fred Hampton, you should definitely watch it. Because even some of the things that I knew about Fred Hampton, I realized there was still a lot more that I needed to learn. And to see that a government body could just go in and just do it was just so dirty. Just so dirty. So they get a Black gentleman to basically take down one of his own. So heartbreaking. And I think that even in that situation, for those who don't know, the gentleman who infiltrated the Black Panthers group that Fred Hampton was a part of, he came clean about that years later. I believe that special aired. It was either, I want to say that was early 90s. I have to go back and see if I can find it. They may not let me play it on here because copyright, but it was an interview that he did. I believe it was early 90s. He came clean. After that interview, he committed suicide. Now, did he? Or did someone kill him? Takes a lot of guts to come forward. He also tried to get out. He tried to get out. When things got to be too much for him, he wanted to get out. Then they threatened him. And this is what they do. So he stayed in. Even after Fred Hampton died, or Fred Hampton was killed, he continued working for the FBI, even though he didn't want to. They were paying him a lot of money under the table. Such a sad way to go out. Such a sad way to go out. What's going on, Case Study QB? Boop, boop. Much love to Sabby Sabs. I'm looking forward to coming on the show. Thanks, Case Study. Yeah, Case Study will be here soon, you guys. It'd be great to have him on. What is the movie? The movie is Judas and the Black Messiah. I'll put it in here, actually. Because honestly, like after I watched that movie, I felt like I had to take like a breath, like just a moment to just clear my head, because it was a lot. It was a lot. I'll share my screen and I'll show you. I know I'm kind of getting off topic here a little bit, but kind of not. I guess it's still all related, but I'll show you what it is. Everybody should see this. I think I saw this on a streaming service. I can't remember which one. Judas and the Black Messiah. So Daniel Kaluuya, you guys might remember him from Get Out, the movie Get Out. He plays Fred Hampton. And then Lakeith Stanfield, he plays Bill O'Neill, who is the guy that infiltrates the Black Panther group. So definitely check out that movie. HBO Max. Okay, it says it's on HBO Max, Vudu, and looks like Amazon Prime Video. Hulu, watch it with premium subscription, it looks like. But you should definitely watch that movie. And then give yourself a moment to, I guess, breathe afterwards. Because it was powerful, very, very powerful movie. Oh, Where Pilgrim said HBO Max had the streaming rights for it. Okay. I didn't realize that. Yeah. There you go. There you go. So when you think about like Malcolm X and all the things that he's done, you know, when I was in school, I remember being told that Malcolm X was basically um this villain. Like he was a bad guy. Like they were like Martin Luther King was the good one because he wanted to bring everybody together and he wanted to do things peacefully. Even though later on, Martin Luther King said, looking back on things, that sometimes he felt like maybe they should not have been peaceful. They didn't tell us that in school. That was stuff I had to find out on my own through research. And then they would say that Malcolm X was the militant one because he was so, you know, he was pro-black and he wanted black people to not depend on the system, the government systems that we have in this country, to not trust police, which honestly, you still should not trust police. I'm just being real, just being real. And so that's what they taught us in school. And even when they taught us about the Black Panthers, they made it seem like the Black Panthers were just this militant group. They weren't telling us that like the Black Panthers were opening clinics in their neighborhoods, free clinics, that they were feeding people, that they were giving people free clothes, that they were taking care of people in their community, that the reason why we have free lunch and reduced lunch programs in school is because the Black Panthers started that in their community. They were giving kids like free breakfast. They were taking care of their own. And none of my teachers said that. And this is why I tell people it's good that you do your own research, because I found out so much more about the Black Panthers as I got older, doing my own research, not what was in my history book. Because even that has a narrative sometimes. Let's be real. So learning more and more about Malcolm X, I would come to realize that he was not this militant, angry figure that they told us he was when I was in school. They didn't talk about a lot of the good things that he did. They also didn't tell us that before he died, he actually decided to change his way of thinking. That maybe we should include everybody. Maybe the way I was going about things wasn't the right way to do it. I want to do things differently now. And some people did not like that. Some people are like, no, you got to continue to preach the same message you've been preaching. So that was Malcolm X, like really taking a big step there to do that and to say that, because not everybody is going to be on board with you. And it's just one of those things. There are things that Malcolm X talked about that I don't think they really wanted us to hear. I'm going to see if I can play this. Give me just a second. Because Malcolm X, long time ago, tried to warn everybody about liberals. So I'm going to share my screen. They didn't want us to hear this, man. They did not want us to hear this information. They want to keep us in the Democratic Party. Listen to this. Now, this is from, they put the date on here when the speech happened. They didn't, but it's in black and white. So you guys know this was a long time ago. But this is important. Listen to what he says about liberals.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox, and a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to, but the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling. You take him for a friend.
But Malcolm X got what was coming.
I don't know what was up with that music at the end, but I'll talk through it this time. So listen to this.
Many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most.
This is Malcolm X saying that liberals are the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. This is coming from Malcolm X. But when we say this today, this is why I want to educate everyone about this. Those of us saying this today, people like me, people like my comrades over what used to be FHL, I told you we're changing the name. When we say these things, we get heavily attacked on Twitter, on different platforms, on our live streams. We get heavily attacked. Why? Why do you think that is? Malcolm X told you a long time ago. He warned us. He warned us. Listen to this. Listen to the rest.
Deceitful. He's like a fox. And a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to. But the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling. And you take him for
He said the fox is more dangerous than the wolf. When the wolf is coming at you, you can see what's coming. When the fox is coming, he's a little bit more sneaky. Honestly, it kind of sounds like Joe Biden. It sounds like establishment Democrats. That's what it sounds like. Everybody kept saying things like, oh, well, Trump is terrible. Joe Biden's going to be so much better than Trump. And I said back then that Joe Biden is actually pretty similar to Trump. He just does it in a different way. He disguises it better. Now, some of those same people who were criticizing me back then are now coming to me saying like, oh my God, I think you were right about Biden. Yes, I told you. This man's been a politician for over 40 years. Look at what he has done. He's the reason why we have such a corrupt criminal justice system in this country. He made it so that Black and brown people could not get due process and proper justice in this country the way that we're supposed to. He made it that way. It was designed by him and racist Strom Thurmond. And I'm supposed to stand up and clap my hands and give him an applause because he has a D in front of his name because he's a Democrat, not a Republican? I don't think so. Malcolm X is letting you know right now. He's the fox. So while Trump may have been the wolf, Joe Biden is the fox. Let me come out. These are the things they didn't want to hear. These are the things that our teachers didn't want to tell us in school. They were not going to put that in our history books. All the videos they showed us of Malcolm X when I was in school, that was never one of them. That was never one of them. So we have to be careful. We have to be cautious. We have to pay attention because at the end of the day, even when it comes to our own education system in this country, they have a particular narrative that they want to teach us and that they want us to believe. We have to do our own research. Now, it's a shame. It's a shame what has happened to a lot of like the Black revolutionary leaders in this country. Because sometimes I wonder, how would this country be today if people like Malcolm X and MLK were still alive? I mean, they helped us get change and progress, but just imagine how much more they would have been able to do if they lived. And people knew that, and that's why they killed them. Going to some of the comments in the chat. Bill said the education system is designed to create loyal citizens. It is not to teach people. It is propaganda. 100%. 100%. I had to tell my teacher one time that Christopher Columbus didn't discover America. She didn't like that. Said it's in the history book. I was like, the history book's wrong. I wonder what they're teaching kids about that today. Is it still the history book? I don't know. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. Kristen said Obama and Clinton are foxes too. Yes. And Obama, I would say, was even more dangerous than Clinton because Obama, it's like they found someone to play their game who would appeal to Black people. Somebody who was already Black. Let's get someone who's Black to do it. And it worked. I'm not going to lie. I told you guys before, I was very excited about Obama in 2008. I really thought I was doing something when I went out to vote for him. Thought I was going to help make a difference. Boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I wrong. Oh, man. Oh, man. California said Obama is definitely the fox. Absolutely. Absolutely. I am going into my third story. This one, phew, I don't know if you've been following the Ahmaud Arbery trial. I have. Hold on.
Trial of the 3 men accused of killing Ahmaud Arbery.
Sorry about that. I have been following it, and there have already been some problems that I saw from day one. And I'm going to share my screen and start with this. Now, the first problem that I saw with the trial itself, and this was actually right before the trial began, but it was during the hearing. So I'm going to share my screen and make this a little bit bigger for you. Hope you guys can still see that there. Yes. Okay. This was the first problem that I saw. The trial jury consisted of 11 white jurors and 1 black juror. They only had 1 black person on the jury, and they kept it that way. Can you on a case a crime that was racially motivated, because the 3 men who killed Ahmaud Arbery went after him because they said they saw a black man jogging, because they saw a black man running. It was racially motivated. And you put just 1 black person on the juror. They should be absolutely ashamed of themselves. Absolutely. I'll go on. So these are the defendants: Travis McMichael, his father, Gregory McMichael, and their co-defendant, William Bryan Jr. These are the 3 men accused of chasing and killing 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery just before noon this morning. This is going back to when it happened. Okay, there are 9 white females, 2 white males, and 1 black male serving on the trial jury. You gotta be kidding me. And they say people get due justice in this country. Get out of here. Get out of here. Even the alternates, with 2 white females and 1 white male serving as the jury alternate. They didn't even have a black person as an alternate. Okay. Here's another problem. Georgia's Glenn County is about 70% white and 27% black, according to information from the U.S. Census Bureau. So here you have a case that it is obviously a racial case here. And this is happening in a town that is 70% white, and then you only have 1 black person on the jury. Make this make sense to me, ladies and gentlemen. There were other things that happened that I found to be quite questionable. At one point, they said that they did not want black pastors present. I don't really know what that has to do with anything, but they said basically that black preachers could not come, could not be there. Why? And not just preachers. So if you just want to focus on the religious aspect, they didn't say preachers. They specifically said black preachers. Tell me this is not a racial case. Tell me. Let me know. So those were some of the problems that I saw right away. The jury is going to be a problem. Now, the jury has gone into deliberation. I'm not sure when they're going to come back. Hopefully it will be soon. But for those who don't know what exactly happened with this case, I'm going to come out for just a second before I show that video. Let me see. 1 second. Let me show the video first, actually, because it's ready to go. So here's the video. Let me mute my mic.
The prosecutor will deliver a rebuttal to the closing arguments, and we will bring it to you live. It is
Michael.
defense.
All three of these defendants made assumptions about what was going on that day, and they made their decision to attack Ahmaud Arbery in their driveways because he was a black man running down the street.
Now, lawyers for Travis McMichael, his father Greg, and William Roddy Bryan painted them as concerned neighbors worried about reports of burglaries in the area, and they blamed Arbery for his own death.
He told you about the thefts and the burglaries, the totality of the facts, why he believed what he did, that he wanted to follow him, that he wanted to talk to him, that he wanted to stop him, for the police to detain him. Don't be fooled by this word arrest. You don't have to announce you're under arrest.
Why isn't Mr. Arbery asking for help? Why isn't he calling out, hey, somebody call 911. There's crazy people after me. Maybe that's because Mr. Arbery doesn't want help.
I'm sorry. I'm a little bit confused here. If you are being chased by 3 men in a truck and they've got guns pointing at you and going to shoot you and you're running, I don't know if I have time to stop, pull out my cell phone and call 911. I'm trying to get the hell away. The second thing is Ahmaud Arbery is a black man. He knows what might happen if he calls the police. It's just the ignorance. The ignorance. Give me a break. You think most black men want to pick up the phone and call the police? Hell no. I'll let them go on.
Turning Ahmaud Arbery into a victim after the choices that he made does not reflect the reality of what brought Ahmaud Arbery to Satilla Shores in his khaki shorts with no socks to cover his long, dirty toenails.
Oh, hell no. So now we're talking about the fact that he has long, dirty toenails. What the hell does that have to do with the fact that 3 white men got into a truck, gunned this man down, and killed him? Are we serious? Are we serious right now? Is this woman a real lawyer? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So that makes you guilty because you didn't have on socks? Because you have long, dirty toenails? What the hell does that have to do with the fact that these men chased him down and killed him? Give me a fucking break. This is what they do. They always try to make the black person who was killed look like such a bad freaking person. They always do this. Oh, he didn't have on socks and he had long, dirty toenails. What the fuck? So he deserves to be killed? Give me a break. I'll let it go on.
Legal analyst and criminal defense attorney Joey Jackson and CNN senior legal analyst and former federal prosecutor Ellie Honig. Friends, we're going to get to the long, dirty toenails issue in just a moment. First, though, Ellie, I want to address what we're going to see this morning, which is a rebuttal from the prosecution. What exactly is that? And why is it important that it's happening this morning?
So a rebuttal is the final word, is the prosecutor's chance to address and hopefully, if you're the prosecutor, correct all the things that the defense lawyers, in this case, 3 of them, just argued. Now, I think there's an interesting tactical advantage to the prosecutor to getting to go this morning. Now, when I was giving rebuttals as a prosecutor, I used to like to try to stand up immediately before the defense lawyer even hit the seat and basically say, everything that guy just said is bogus. However, there's a practical issue with the 4:30 p.m. rebuttal. You've got a jury that's been sitting there all day. They're exhausted. They've heard more information than any human being could process. And the whole time you're going, they're just going to be thinking, oh my God, I got to get to the supermarket. I got to feed my kids. It's 5:15. What's going on? Now they go home, they sleep. You get to open today as the prosecutor. You get the final word. Judge instructs them. They deliberate. The most recent thing they've heard is your rebuttal. So I think there's a nice advantage there for the prosecutors.
Joey, I want to address what we just heard from the defense there. The long, dirty toenails for Ahmaud Arbery. That was from one of the defense attorneys there. I had a chance to speak to Arbery's mother, Wanda Cooper Jones, overnight. This is what she said about the moment. It actually caused her to get up and walk out of the courtroom when that was said. Listen.
It was very, very disturbing. I thought it was very, very rude to talk about his long, dirty toenails and to totally neglect that my son had a huge hole in his chest where he was shot with that shotgun. I sat there for the last 2 weeks and let them dehumanize my son, who wasn't doing anything wrong the day that he chose to go for that afternoon job.
Deplorable and most unfortunate tactic. Listen, I get and understand the defense has a job to do, right? That's the job I do. That's the job we do as defense lawyers. The reality is though you have to thread that needle and thread that line. This was just outwardly and blatantly, in my view, racist. You want to talk about dehumanization? That's what it was about. You have to look at what she said in the context of her larger argument. Her larger argument, John, was about our neighborhood. An interloper coming in here. We had issues with our neighborhood. We had curfews. We were on edge in our neighborhood. And so if you ask me, she's speaking to that 11-1 split, right? Let's address the elephant in the room. We know from the outset that there was 11 white jurors and 1 African-American juror, notwithstanding the demographics of the area, which are 75% white, 25% black. And so I believe that she was really amping that up and trying to wrap her client up in, he is one of you, do not convict. That's not, certainly you want to have the notion of not convicting my client, but to do it in that manner, I just think transcends the bounds of decency and is not what we should be doing.
How does the prosecution deal with that in rebuttal?
It has absolutely nothing to do with the case. And that's what just like ticks me off so bad, is just that this one doesn't have one to do with the other. And who cares? Who cares if he was covered completely in dirt? Who cares? That doesn't determine who you are as a person. And I think that this is something that we see happen often. You have to look a certain way. You have to be a certain way. One of the things that one of the defendants said that they found questionable about Ahmaud Arbery is that they tried to talk to him and he wouldn't talk to them. Well, let me explain something to you and make this very clear, because there seems to be this perception by some people in this country, especially in the South. I lived in Georgia. I lived in South Carolina, North Carolina, but it can happen anywhere. There seems to be this perception by some white people that if they approach you and ask you a question, that you owe them a fucking response. You do not. You do not have to talk to them. If you want to walk away, hell, I wouldn't talk to you either. I don't know you. I'm just, look, what? Why would I stop and talk to you if I don't have to? That mentality comes from slavery, where people feel as though they are owed a response. How dare you not answer them? He doesn't have to. So that excuse that was given by one of the defendants is absolutely ridiculous. Now, some people wonder and they're asking, how were they able to even shoot him, kill him, and not be arrested? That goes back to the citizen arrest law in Georgia. So apparently they had this law that basically meant that as a citizen, even though you're not a police officer, kind of similar to the stand your ground law in Florida, which we saw with Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman, that you can act in such a way as the police. Now, quite funny though, apparently that law has been removed after this situation. I wonder why. Why would you have that law in the first place? Because obviously it's going to affect different people differently. Obviously, you're going to target certain people. One of the defendants told you, we thought he was suspicious because he was a black man running. So the fuck what? Let him run. I don't know if they used this excuse, well, he was looking in houses, and so fucking what? That's what the police are for. That's what they're for. I don't know what the hell is going on in this country where people seem to think that they are like Batman, the Green Arrow, and like X-Men and shit, where they can just get into their vehicles and they can just stop crime on their own. The same people who sit up there and tell you to back the blue, the same people who sit up there and tell you that we need to appreciate police are not appreciating police because they're trying to do their job. So if you really feel that the police are important and they're doing what they need to do, then why don't you let them do their job? Why are you jumping in and trying to be a cop? Get out of here. That was 100% racially motivated. If it was a white man jogging in that neighborhood, whether he looked in a window or not, they would have not killed him. And if nobody on that juror wakes up and sees that, I'm going to tell you right now, if these men are found innocent, there is going to be a complete unrest in this country. Because this is something we all saw this on video. Clear as day. This reminds me of slave patrols. That's exactly what it reminds me of. Where they are running down, they are gunning him down, chasing after him. Do you think I would stop and talk? Hell no. Whether I'm in Georgia or Massachusetts, my ass is still moving. It should have never happened, period. And for anyone making an excuse for these guys, what does that say about you? What does it say about you? Let's pretend it was different. Let's pretend it was 3 black men in a truck who chased down a white man and killed him. I bet you there wouldn't just be one white person on that jury. So I felt like this was doomed from the start. It's already unfair. We're already seeing what is happening in the courtroom. Because what people have to understand, whether he had long toenails, no socks, or what, who cares? Who cares? Your appearance does not make you a criminal. This is something that Black people have to deal with every day. When we tell you we have to code switch, yes, we do. The way that I am here is not the way that I am at work. That is a different perception. That is a different face that I have to put on, where I have to smile, even if I'm not having a good day, so they don't call me an angry Black woman. We have to do these things. We have to work twice as hard. And we have to do it because of the perceptions that are perceived by people in this country of Black people. And you just saw the lawyer do it there. He's a bad person because he didn't have on socks and he has long toenails. Give me a break. Give me a break. This is what they do. And Georgia has a long history of racism. They have a lot of racial issues in Georgia. I know from firsthand experience. It is not a good look. It is not. I'm going to go to some of the comments in the chat. Pat said, I have a half Black son, which in the US means he is Black, and stuff like this scares the crap out of me as it could be my son. You go. There you go. Creative Experiment said they are making it okay for vigilante justice, and this is how Mussolini took power. David Reed, I don't know where you're going with this comment about Floyd being a POS criminal. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That is not why he was killed that day. Let's be real. If you're coming on here to troll, I'm going to go ahead and let you know this is not the channel for you. So you can either sit here and listen and learn something, or you can peace out. Either is fine with me. But don't come on here to be a troll. Emma says, right, they're trying to make people disgusted of Black people. 100%. This is what they do. This is the image that they paint. They want to see a bad image of him. This is what they do. It just absolutely terrible. I don't even understand how that statement that she made was admissible. Leroy said David is a trash troll and can kick rocks if he's not here to learn. Oh my God. I don't have time for it. I really don't. Like, you can go. This is not the place. Not the place. So I don't know what's going to happen, what's going to be the outcome of this case. But right now, it is not looking so good. It is not. I don't even understand. Even like as a lawyer, what? How can you sit up here and argue these men's innocence. How could you do that? And the other thing, even when it goes back to the citizen's arrest, Ahmaud Arbery wasn't arrested. He was murdered. Bill said the rise of the right in Germany and Italy is actually a warning to us. When you don't get class solidarity, revolutions come from the right. Pat said, Sabby, I'm a white mom who had to have the talk with my son to keep him safe. You know, and it's a painful thing, but it is a reality that we have in this country. That you have to teach it. You have to teach it. It is unfortunate, but it's just really sad. It's really sad. We'll never know Ahmaud Arbery's side of the story because he's dead. The only side of the story that we're really getting a chance to hear is from the 3 men who killed him. Ahmaud Arbery's not here to explain what he was doing. So for the people who say the justice system works, if those 3 men believe the justice system works, then why didn't they let the justice system do its job? Why didn't they call the police? For the lawyer who says, why didn't Ahmaud Arbery call 911? Why didn't those 3 guys call 911? See, I couldn't be in that courtroom. I just honestly, there's no way I could sit there and just hold my tongue. No way whatsoever. I think I have some comments over on Rockfin. Let me check that real quick. Pull that up. Continue to comment in the chat if you wish. I don't even know how I get to it. What in the world? Because Rockfin. Oh, okay. Let me make sure the volume's off. Oh, that was weird. I can hear myself at the same time on both things. All right, let me see. Yes, I do have some comments on Rockfin. All right, this is from Roger Meadows. Inez might be right about Jordan not. Is this the same one? Oh, that's from yesterday's show. But this is a comment. Inez might be right about Jordan not looking out for Black people, but he's outside of the community. Inez, chill, Sab. You can apply what you said to all entertainers, just not sports. Entertainers won't save us and shouldn't be our leaders. They should play the back and support movements. Black communities must stop looking to Black capitalists to be our saviors. Harvey, Oprah interests are all of self-interest, not community interests. Regarding Biden, I'd love to tell Southern Black boomers who still assume Black people and whites associated with, hey, this thing moved on its own. What happened? I'd love to tell boomers who still assume Black people and whites associated with them who are in power will look out for them. It wouldn't have happened with Bernie. Boomers need to stop voting and get the F out the way. You're screwing up the future of our community. GD loyalty voters operating on fear and not leveraging their vote to get something. Interesting. I think this was a death brought on by stress. So this is in reference to Malcolm X's daughter, of not having closure into her father's death. Formerly William Bradley, later known as Mustafa, may have the killing blow with a shotgun, but others riddled him with bullets. I don't know, Roger. I don't know. It is weird looking at me on Rockfin and looking at me here too. That was kind of weird. Valerie said, I think they'll be found guilty, Sabs. I hope so, Valerie, but I don't want to get my hopes up because I just don't. I just don't trust it. I just don't trust the system. And I have this fear too, that if they are found guilty, that they're not going to do much time. I'm afraid of that as well. Harry, who I think is from Australia, says, American friends, sorry to tell you this bluntly, but your entire country is utterly fucked. At this point, y'all need to just burn down the United States to the ground and start again from scratch. Damn. Oh my gosh, Harry. Harry. Oh man. Oh man. This is really interesting. These comments, I'm sorry, you guys, it's really funny. Where Pilgrim says they might get a slap on the wrist, that's a possibility. That's what I'm wondering. That's what I'm wondering. Eric said Harry is a bit pessimistic. Aaron Jackson said facts. Cam said Harry made good points. Oh man. Oh man. Guys, don't forget to hit that like button. That really helps me with the algorithm. Although I think you guys have noticed that there's like a dislike button that doesn't show now or something like that. Or it doesn't show the dislikes. I don't know what that's about. But I actually don't agree with that because that means that corporate media channels on YouTube, we're not going to see all the dislikes that they have. So people are going to think that their narrative is still good. Yeah, you're not slick with that one, YT. You are not slick with that one. No. All right, guys, it is 8:21. I am about to head out. But go over to the new FHL, which is, I'm going to pull it up on here so you guys can see. Doobie doobie doo. Doobie 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 doo. Doobie doobie doo. All right, guys, I'll share my screen and show you the new name, the new look. For those of you who didn't know that we were changing the name. At 9 o'clock, head over to Revolutionary Blackout Network, RBN, Blacking Out Corporate Propaganda, a Black-led multicultural network and co-op of everyday people, activists, and allies focused on empowering our communities through education, organizing, and direct action. Nick will be on at 9 o'clock with the International Leftist Coalition. Has Nick created the stream? Let me see. Oh, he may not have posted it yet. Oh, come on, Nick. Okay. But anyway, Nick is supposed to be on at 9 o'clock with Karim Butesh and Pete Betty, or I think it's Beauty Betty. I'll figure it out. And of course, Josana. They're going to do the International Leftist Coalition, which is probably one of my favorite shows over there. I have to train myself to start saying RBN and not FHL. So there you go. There it is. Oh, you found it. Thanks, Eric. So Eric put the link in the chat. But yeah, definitely check it out, you guys. It should be cool. I don't know who the spam user is. But yeah, what? Desert Manta said, I'll only go there if they have short toenails, Sabby. Oh man, where are you going? Oh, you guys got jokes. Guys, tomorrow's Wednesday. I'll be back on Wednesday. And then Thursday is Thanksgiving. You guys don't see me here on Thursdays anyway. I'm usually at Roundtable. So everybody, please have a good, safe Thanksgiving. You will be missed. Because I don't think we're doing a Roundtable Thursday either. I gotta ask Nick about that. I don't know why I'm telling you guys this live, but anyway, I'll check with Nick about that because I don't think we are. But yeah, it should be. I don't know. I feel good about it. I feel good, like I said, not using someone else's name. And some people may not like this new name, but honestly, hell, you can't please everybody. Okay, you just can't please everybody. There's gonna be some haters, regardless. It just is what it is. But yeah, I'm excited. I feel like it's just like a new beginning, a new era. So let's do the damn thing. All right, guys. Again, if you're not getting notifications for my live streams, follow me on Twitter. I post them there. I always put my live information there when I'm going live. You can find me on Twitter at SabbySabs2. All right, that's it, guys. I gotta head out. I'm gonna finish watching The Maid because I think I have like one more episode left on Netflix. So I'm gonna finish watching that and then maybe some goody movies. It's going to feel good not to have to go to work tomorrow. Sabby is tired, okay? All right, guys. So have a good night. Keep up the fight.